Tervetuloa kuuntelemaan Orgonisaatio-keskustelua 10.4. Olemme täällä valmiina ystävämme Inkarin kanssa. Hei.
Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, Finland. So nice to be here in this virtual room together with my brother Jukka. Hello, everybody.
Yeah, it's a great honor and great moment to be able to do this now, this conversation, and to have you as a guest in this our conversation. Pekka will probably come also take part of this sometime soon, and then so we are talking about these times and the eternal time, the eternal aspects of life and the whole reality, and how do we relate to the how the eternal aspects of this reality, how they relate now to this moment, this world that we are living in, as we see quite many kind of things happening and going on. So as it has been now every weekend when we do this stream, it is also a moment for centering to the pure presence and to the healing, to open the healing flow of energy from the allness of life. And that is also how we look at this situation now. I consider that we are opening here something sacred and truly meaningful for this humanity in this time and the whole world. We have been talking quite much about the self-organizing flow of energy. That self-organizing flow we can see in the flow of water and natural elements, and it is like a sign of higher intelligence of nature in everything. And we can see that this kind of higher intelligence of nature, of the whole earth and the collective mind of humanity, is now, it is very much happening, that kind of healing, self-organizing of all the things. But what we see is still some kind of tribulation, or we are still seeing the process of harmonization, and it doesn't look too harmonious. So yeah, it's so nice to have you in this meeting and to make this stream. Who knows where this will go and who are the people who will see. So thank you for being here, and yeah,
Thank
what
you,
do you
Jukka.
have in mind?
Indeed, is very wise word what you say about the self-organization of all living conscious structures in these amazing times of transformation. Thank you for the invitation again. Always a pleasure to be sharing with the Karhu Kansaklani. I miss Finland very much. I look forward to be there visiting again. I miss the sauna. But anyway, through this virtual medium, we are connected, and I suppose we are self-organizing ourselves. About this self-organization, indeed, I agree with what you say. And according to the values of our native community and the principles of cosmic harmony that we have been keeping and protecting for centuries, the self-organization requires a minimum of a true connection with the true source of consciousness. In our case, for human beings, for living entities in this planet, that connection occurs through the grounding with Mother Earth, with Pachamama, as we call it. And of course, from there, the connection with the higher levels, the Hanach Pacha, or the Great Spirit with many names. So what is happening now is that we have already entered in this great time of transformation that we call Pachakutik, the time when the earth will turn upside down. Indeed, we are in this crucial period where many things are upside down. You know, reality as we know it have changed forever. And we have a great opportunity and responsibility as human beings to decide and choose the direction, the gateway, the opening to the timeline that we want to reach. So it's amazing of importance, all efforts, all initiatives, all actions towards that common goal. And this humble streaming indeed could provide a space to ventilate all those questions that, especially now, seems a little bit difficult to express. There is a great effort to suppress what is true, and that we have seen since the year 992, when the Great Awakening started. And then, according to the prophecies, according to the visions, according to the guidelines of the native communities from North America, Central America, North America, the Native Americans, Central Americas, the Maya, the Aztec cultures, and the Inca community in the South that keeps many of the prophecies for this time and important guidelines. We have been talking about the time of the Pachakutik, the time of the Great Awakening that started in the 92, and it was enhanced in 2012. Many people were talking at that point about the end of the earth, and many people went into this hysteria and Hollywood New Age machinery, but nothing of that was according to the teachings and the information that we have as a community. For us, 2012 was the marking of the beginning, the opening for a new era of harmony, balance, of peace, depending how we reacted as human consciousness, collective consciousness, to these energies that was entering our reality. So from 2012, we have noticed also the great effort to the old structures to keep this awakening, to suppress this awakening, to sabotage all this great rising of the, as you call it, the eternal, pure essence conscious of humanity, just pure as nature, as living water, that reorganize itself always eternally towards cosmic harmony. In that interchange of giving and receiving in harmony that we call Aini, we call Jananting, we call Masinti, we call Pachakutik, we call Kuting, and it has many names. It's always this harmonious, natural reorganization of life itself towards a complete realization of what is natural. And we see now how humanity indeed have achieved the critical point, and we are there. And that's why we are getting also the amazing reaction and input for the old structures, because they are in fears. They are in fears that humanity is again taking charge, remembering, meeting themselves once again with what is real, what is natural, this potential of reorganization towards harmony.
Yeah. Yeah, we are seeing all of that. It is we have been talking and showing things, considering this self-organizing flow of energy and talking about this lately, and yeah, really bringing up that basic thing, as you say also, that things are in their natural state, things are getting into harmonious state. Harmony is the natural state of everything, and it is only I would say that it is a programmed mental conditioning that humanity has been put through to make us think that war and difficulties and poverty are normal things, but they have never been normal in any high civilization that has its roots connected to the natural abundance of the earth that we can appreciate so much, and how our ancestors in their times of high civilization, how they have been very, very aware of these basic natural things that are the common sense of nature itself and natural consciousness. About how the system is pushing against this natural flow of free information and free energy and all kind of true freedom. They are much pushing to the illusionary part of the reality. They are pushing idea of freedom, which is everything but real freedom. There are many agendas going on, like Agenda 2021 and 2030, these UN agendas, globalist agendas. They have been making those already long time, or making the plans really long time ago, many decades ago, in order to hijack the naturally happening expansion of consciousness, or implosion of consciousness to the higher dimension or multidimensional understanding that is naturally set in our hearts, and it was set in the hearts of our ancestors. And I think we will look at some point and we will talk about the megalithic cultures before and the signs of true high civilization that we can see has been all around the world in the ancient times, and who knows actually how ancient times, because as we now know, even the timeline that they have taught to us in the schools is not. How do we know that it would be accurate? We better look what is happening now and lately, and we need to see through the tryings of the system to suppress the true information and to divide and conquer the people as they always have been doing, and really to bring up the pure truth. As you say, that any living being has to have minimum pure connection to the consciousness itself in order to be able to self-harmonize, self-organize, and to self-heal. And in this, when mentioning the healing, it is, of course, really universal or multidimensional sacredness and holy thing that we are talking about when we talk about healing power. I have many times now been mentioning in these our conversations about this primary energy and primary things of this reality, like all the good things of higher civilization, like sharing, abundance, and taking care, loving, and really the most basic things that we see are good in life. Those are the primary things, like the energy itself is primary. And then the form, the world of form and material things comes as secondary, but appreciating and directly connected to the pure consciousness itself. Oh. What do you think if I share to our English listeners now, and because you are also a new visitor in this stream, I would like to share also to you about this situation in our country now, and it is worldwide. But the thing what I have been now doing is almost like a short tradition that I have been creating here, because I think the information of our country and society, the unfortunate corruption in it, has to be exposed, and people need to know how our countries are being controlled by that kind of people who are not really serving anyone living here. They are listening the same foreign conquistadors, like who came to Andean lands before, who came here before. So yeah, today was a meeting, demonstration there in city. It was a protest against the crazy restrictions that the system is pushing now, even to the free moving in this country and around in the city. The system tried to make it more controlled now, that there is not allowed to go outside even. But luckily, the constitution, they remember that we have constitution still, or we should have at least, and in constitution we can see that it's not legal to restrict free movement of people in the free country and so on. But what we have been seeing lately is everything but constitutional. It doesn't follow any real law. Even they make big piles of papers of their fake laws about these things. But naturally, we know that what is real and what is not. So I share this for a while and go through the things that I want to mention.
Great.
Yeah. All right. So this is a website that I have been running now some little bit more than 10 years and collecting information here. The main thing is to provide information about solutions that we have. Solutions that are really so big that we can see that all the problems of this world are actually, we are in voluntary state of being in problems because our governments and whoever have been leading us to those, and the agendas that some people have been making for many decades, what they have been running. But so I will just show this now. Well, I show first, I tell, there was the meeting today, or the demonstration in city, and a few hundred people were present at least. And then the police in Finland was there in complete like military style costumes and with their weapons and all, and sprays and with those things, and they distracted the groups many times so that people could not do as they wanted to. Even so that there was a group of people, long line of people walking, and 3 times police car came in the middle of people so that they needed to move out. And someone came out of the car with a telescope whip, metallic, this kind of stick, and started to hitting to the people so that they would just scatter. So this kind of thing we are seeing, and many people were taken. They were officially not arrested, I think, but they were just catched by police and given some penalty for being there and breathing freely. So this kind of fascism we are seeing. But what we have in Finland, what has opened to many lately, is that we have for many decades been led in complete fakery, and in a society where corruption is so deeply inside that it just has to become well known. Well, this first thing is about the monetary system. We wouldn't really need to have a monetary system where we borrow all the money that exists from private bankers that want to get interest for their money what they are giving to the societies. Every country could have its own bank and its own money without any scarcity, no lack included. It could be possible. Could be so very possible. So in Finland we have this problem that our government has been selling the national property of this country with really no price at all. And the government, the people there are like, so what, only asking. But you mentioned 1992. It was also a year when severe economic depression started in this country, but it didn't start without causes. It was so that this president in picture, President Mauno Koivisto, he called all the courts and many bankers and people in high places together in that year. Or was it 94? I think it was 92. And he made a rule that from now on, every court case where a private someone or a private company is against a bank or against official institution in Finland, the bank needs to win, or the institution has to always win. The private people are not to be given justice. And this was their rule that they set. And they made it secret. They made it secret, but this kind of thing happened. So they finally corrupted the court system of Finland in that time. And since that time, they have been making us believe that we are living in an independent country, when in the true life we are a company. We are a company registered, and then people should really know what happened. These times need to change. This same Lipponen, so what Lipponen is telling here, that they lied quite much like about everything, about the European Union and Euro, that 30 years ago, and then there are many crimes that our present president, for example, who is mentioned here, these ministers, they sold debt of 57,000 private companies in Finland. They had a loan, and our ministers sold these loans to some foreign debtors who are taking more and more interest from these Finnish people with a price of 5% of their real value. And they didn't give possibility for Finnish people to pay their loans back with the value of 5%. But instead they sold them out and made these people in Finland indebted until now. Many people are still paying the loans of this 1990s thing. And the big and good thing in this is that actually, as long as our governments have been going against the true constitution, they have been doing it willingly and against the real law. So if justice is to happen, we can cancel all the debts and all these illegal contracts that is our government or fake government people have been making, and that gives us a good point in time, because it only needs people to wake up that what has happened, and then we can get our independence back. And I know that the situation is very similar in many countries, and many people here are quite many people in Finland are telling that we need to go out from European Union because it would free us from the bank system that is now bringing scarcity and lack. People, we could get independent again. But I think that this true independence has to come to every country and all the nations. It's not a thing of one country. If we want to fix something here in Europe, we need to fix it all, not just one country. But let's see how it will go. It's anyway very promising that so much information is available already, and many people are reaching for it, and same time awakening in their heart to the true life force that the nature is giving to us for free. And any community that would share the abundance that it has would become endlessly rich when they would just unite their what they really want to do. And so I think that I have been mentioning in these conversations how important it is that people now will recognize that we have connection. All the people of the planet have connection to each other through the mental dimension, that we are sharing, and it is the mind of the earth itself. Mind of people is the mind of the earth. We are sharing one consciousness, and the agenda of the deceiver has been to make illusions and make people believe in those illusions, but as we now know, many of those are crumbling, and we see it happening every day. And that is why we need to build something different. We cannot continue opposing or protesting against the bad things that are happening, but we need to bring up the good change and the solutions. And we talked shortly with you about this subject. Would you like to add that what do you think that what we really need to build now, if we consider that what happens in the mind of the people is the source of happenings also in the physical realm in the present moment?
Yes. One of the aspects you are mentioning about healing, that is something very important, especially in this period of time. And as you say, corrupted structure, corrupted systems are also there as a part of the natural dance, the entropic dance of chaos and order. The situation and the destructive aspect of that is when one of the forces takes over and takes the space in a very unnatural, manipulated, corrupted way, as we see now in this period of time. Something that has been already predicted through many prophecies, many guidelines and wisdom, knowledge from our native cultures. So if we just analyze the whole situation, we see in our reality the spreading of fears, the efforts to limit our expression in all areas as human beings, to distancing from each other's minds, from each other's bodies, from each other's feelings, to distancing from respect from each other, to distancing from emotions, to distancing from love. And all that is being replaced by fears in a diversity, in a rich diversity of and a rich spectrum of fears like never before. This happenings that we are experiencing now is nothing new, and our ancestors knew that before. That's why they managed to leave us some very important, crucial guidelines to navigate through these times. The situation is that the happenings that we are experiencing now are not new, but at the same time are new in the form they are taking. The technology we are using, the expression, the appearance, the circumstances are a little bit different, but in the core, everything is the same. And once again, we are in the period, the space of time where the decision is ours. And it's amazing and indeed a bit scary to see the huge machinery that the corrupted minority in power are developing in order to keep real conscious human natural natives, human beings, blocked and not in full chance to express what they need to express in these special moments, in these special historical times. It's everywhere. We are already there, embedded in the most amazing structure, matrix structure of fears, of low energies, of chaotic, unorganized, manipulated space you can imagine. And that's why it's so important to focus in the other aspects, to develop the important deep aspects that are going to bring the possibilities to open these gateways that the elders are talking about, these timelines of hope, of abundance, of freedom, of liberation, of possibilities. And it's through reconnection to the source of truth, to the natural grid of energy of Mother Earth that is very solid, is very concrete, to reconnect ourselves to nature, to that knowledge, to don't give up to that, to put efforts to get information, knowledge, scientific facts about the benefits of true connection, for example, in the enhancing and to keep clean the natural frequencies of Mother Earth and of our bodies, the Schumann resonances, and all frequencies that support life. The other aspect is the focusing in healing that goes together with the free, natural expression of emotions and human contact, and contact with living entities, living beings, contact with living water, contact with living air, contact with the natural consciousness of living plants, living animals, trees, minerals, all that knowledge that the native people have kept during centuries needs to be protected, respected, revalued, reawakened. And we are the natives of this era. We are the natives, we are the messengers, we are the fulfillers of prophecy in this time. So, according to what the guidelines of our wise men and women from the community that they bring in a special occasion, special cosmic times, in the spring equinoxes, in the winter solstices, we need to heal ourselves in order to endure these critical times. That is where the real, true reorganization of self-consciousness and reconnection with truths begins. The healing aspects to clean ourselves from the programming in the mental level, the programming in the emotional level, the programming in the physical level, the programming in the energetical level. And we all have responsibility in that. And it's about very practical, very basic stuff about what we are eating, what we are drinking, what we are breathing, with what energies we choose to connect. What truths are we expressing? How conscious, how willing, how active we are in order to search for real answers in these critical, special historical moments. I think those basic questions could bring possibilities to opening something inside ourselves and to very much reflect about the factors that involve all that we call self-healing. And self-healings become with responsibility. Self-healings because an attitude of willingly decide and choose to take a different direction that the old structures have been presenting to us so long time, the last 500 years, because I don't want to go into spirituality necessary for this, because this is about common sense.
Yeah.
You know, I know I have very good friends in Norway, for example. Here, I know this very grandpa, this old farmer, that never in his life have go to a spiritual workshop or read about spirituality. But for me, this man is the most spiritual man you can have met, because this man is very grounded. He have learned to experience through pure observation of nature and experience, to what is really beneficial for himself and the community and the family around him, and it's just common sense. And this man, for me, possess more spirituality, more wisdom than the people that go to the events, to the workshop, and have read all these thousands of spiritual books. It's about that, it's about to put your hands in the soil, plant a seed, and see how it grows.
Yeah.
It's about to take care of yourself and take care to others also that are perhaps in a very difficult situation. It's about to, for a moment, stop to think just about your own individuality, and understand that the true effort to self-healing will be beneficial for the ones close to you, the loved ones, and maybe in long term also from a whole community.
Yeah. I think we are seeing also on the community level some wider awakening for the real roots that we have and to the healing power that is present in life if the life is aligned with the higher source, the true basic things, very common sense and very basic things.
And also very important is to the developing now when we are talking about self or organization or high conscious level of self-organization, with these minimal basic requirements that is about common sense, the true reconnection with Mother Earth, true reconnection with yourself, and to be aware, to take responsibility about what you are eating, what you are buying, what you are choosing to be part of, that will contribute perhaps to that opening to understand and to see clear what is what.
Yeah.
And then also it's important to have very clear values and principles that can contribute, support this natural, high conscious self-organizing process. And there comes into place this amazing wisdom and values from all the native cultures and ancient cultures all over the planet. There we have also a great support, great guidelines, and a structure that is very harmonious in itself to support the new changes that humanity is going through now. And for that, one of the most important aspects is to build the trust.
Yeah.
That is what we are talking very much. That is how the communities have worked for eons, from millennia. And that is one aspect that we see also humanity has been totally demoralized, and there is a huge effort to dehumanize what we are.
Yeah. Exactly.
And in that demoralization, in that corruption that is in the TV, in the magazines, in the radio, in the voice of your neighbors, and even inside your family, we are turning apart that precious, important aspect that is the trust. Families, the family, the sacred structure that is for native cultures, the family is a sacred structure. Many times the woman have been the leader of the family, matriarchal structures, very much in balance with the male energy. No conflict, no problem at all there. So we see how families have been targeted in all ways. We see the gender agenda, the genetical manipulation agenda, the agenda in the poisoning of food, poisoning of water, poisoning of air, you name it, is everywhere. It's in the books, it's in the school books of the children. So together with the aspect of reconnection with the true source of wisdom, of frequency, of vibration that is Mother Earth, nature, life itself, and the awareness and the will to reach to self-healing, because we need to heal in these times, we need to reconnect again, we need to meet ourselves, is also the building, the reconnection with this source of wisdom from native cultures and ancient cultures that will support this growing, and at the same time the reevaluation, the reorganization of trust. Because if you see all the minority elites in power, they work very well because they are a family. The mafia is a very strong family.
Yeah.
That's why they work very well. That's why they are super efficient. And that's why they reach the goal they have and the visions with amazing efficiency. So we need to remember that aspect also, to really build a structure in a level, infrastructure, and a structure of support, and a structure of values, and a structure of principles, an organization in different levels to have a solid platform of trust.
Yeah. It's very good point, that the trust, the thing about trust, because that is exactly what has been damaged in humanity through all the traumas and the history that has hurt our ancestors so much. And now the system, they want to bring systematic control to natural ecosystems, that and the multi-biome of all life and the people that runs really and appreciates free energy and free abundance of all life. So they try to put control on over something that simply cannot be controlled. But as you said, it is the fear and that type of energy and that type of things what the system is pushing, and like normalizing things that are not normal at all, that are completely against the common sense of any true human. And they do it so openly, and so big time agendas they write and publish, showing like it would be normal thing. But it is so good to know, and so important to know where is the true power. And exactly as you say, it's very good to learn from the natural processes, not so much learn from the mafia how they keep together, because they are fighting with each other. But the nature teaches us these patterns, these real patterns that are providing us the life support and life form, life energy. And yeah, maybe from this, if we talk a bit about the ancestors, I know that in every native culture also here in Finland and in the native cultures of any places, the ancestors are kept in very great part. They have important part in the life. And like one brother wrote, when there was a conversation about the ancient kings of Finland, because officially the official history is telling in Finland that we didn't have any of that, any organized society before the conquerors came with their Vatican armies, and so that we wouldn't have had any society here. But it's interesting how the ancient sagas from Norway and Iceland and from, was it in North England, and also some Arabic sources mention it, and many sources from abroad looking from Finland, they know that there used to be kingdoms in Finland, and really highly respected ancient kingdoms. And I understand that those societies, they were often how to say, they were ruled by women. Complete balance, not only by women, but with the balance of nature that it teaches to us. The nature teaches to us the basic things. So they were very much into this remembering the ancestors and what the ancestors teach to us. And it goes, of course, so that when we think about ancestors, we first think about the grandfathers, grandmothers in the long lineage before of us. But it goes so far that the whole Pachamama, everything, even the stones, the rocks, the land and the rivers and big trees or small trees, even all the animal kingdom, we can connect to our own ancestors through that. Through all nature, we can connect to the true ancestors who are expressing through the Pachamama the caring and nurturing all nature and our generations now in this time. If you want to say something about the ancestors and how important it is to have the connection.
Yeah, in all native cultures in all the planet, in the Nordic cultures, it has been an important aspect, the respect and the honoring of the memory and energy of the ancestors. In our culture, in the Andean culture, in the Inca culture, and in many cultures before the Incas, the pre-Columbian cultures, many thousand years before the Incas, and same advanced and even more advanced than the Incas. This aspect has been of great importance, and it's something that we have lost very much in present time. I can tell you some examples of, for example, in the Inca culture, the voice of the ancestors was so important that whatever decision that needs to be taken by the leaders of the nation, the whole Tahuantinsuyo, from the Ecuador to the north of Ecuador to the south of Argentina and Chile, needed to be first consulted, not to the rulers or the governors of the nation, the Inca and the Koya, and the intellectuals and the wise man and the spiritual leaders. No, needed to be first consulted by the ancestors and the mummies of their bodies that were very well kept in their houses, and these mummies was taken out in special occasions to change the clothes, to give them food, to give the gift. But imagine that level, I mentioned this. I'm very sure that many of the audience are laughing, but they are crazy, asking the dead and changing the clothes of the dead. But it's in the chronicles of the gray advanced Inca culture that all the decisions what first consulted to the spirit of the ancestors, the former leaders of the nation. They have the first voice, and it was a special circle and ceremony where they gather, channeled the voice and the recommendations from the ancestors to solve certain problems in the community, in the nation. Imagine that. Also, another aspect of the tradition is that the ancestors are the ones that are in front of us, not behind us, because they have been before us. So they are ahead. They have so much more knowledge and they know the whole situation. They have already transcended to the other planes, so they are more suitable to give us guidance. Another aspect also that I can mention is that after death, some of the members of the community were choosing to continue serving the community after death. So a special, I will show that maybe in the next sending. I have very interesting pictures about that. It was a special structure constructed under the earth that looks like a uterus, like a womb. And then these ancestors were mummified in the form of cocoons, like butterfly larva cocoons, many layers of organic material and inorganic material. And their own bodies were part of the organic material, of course. So, in a sense, what a mummification method and system that was creating some kind of organization as well, was indeed creating some kind of energy. And they were placing dozens of them, or even hundreds, in these special wombs under the earth. And upon these structures in the surface were other huge structures that was used in order to preserve food. Without decomposition, could be there preserved during long-term time, many, many years. Reservoirs of food. So, in other words, the ancestors that was buried in this special manner under the earth were creating effectively some kind of energy that was preserving the food there.
Yeah, for the generations to come and the children to eat. Yeah, it's direct flow and expression of their love and caring for the children of this time.
Indeed. Yeah. Very practical form, and these sites were very sacred, very revered, these wakas, as we call it, and also in time of crisis and in special occasions, the community was gathered there in order to honor these ancestors and bring gifts, and also to get information as an oracle and get support in hard times for the community. Multi-purpose aspect, very physical, very practical, preserving food and also giving support to the community. Also, there were many histories in the chronicles that these ancestors that choose to be working for the community, they were so strong bond with these elders, these ancestors, these mummies, that from time to time it could be identified in the young members of the community or the newborns, the reawakening of the continuation of life or reincarnation of some of these ancestors in the families of some child, you know. Similar to the tradition of the Tibet with the Dalai Lama, when they pick this special child, 4 years old or newborn, that present the qualities to be a leader for the community, or a reincarnation from a former leader of the society.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. From this, it comes to my mind how it used to be here in the Nordic countries, in the old tradition, that the people honored very much this. All the people who had passed already away from here and who were here before of us, and they had these sacred trees that were respected very much, and always when someone died, when the ancestor died or someone elder died, they buried the ashes to that tree, and there were family trees, and in some cases they were huge old ancient trees that had been kept as a center for coming to heal and to take contact with the ancestral times through the trees. But yeah, we don't have those big trees anymore. Something happened and someone wanted to cut them, but let's add now our friend Pekka here. Tervehdys, veliseni. Hey. Good evening.
Good evening. Blessings. Kuuluuko?
Joo, kuuluu hyvin. Kyllä.
Hyvä.
Joo. No.
It's been a long time.
So nice to see you.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're in Norway.
Right now I am in Norway, yes. Connecting a little bit with the Nordic ancestor from here as well, as Pekka was mentioning. And talking about that also in the Nordic cultures in Sweden and also still and in Norway very much, they have something that they call the ting.
Yes.
And the thing is the gathering, where they gather in these megalithic structures with these big stones. They have circular shapes and the shapes of ships also.
Yes.
Where they remember very much the ancestry and the elders and the grandfathers and grandmothers that have been the leaders of the community, spiritual guides or shamans or rulers that were very much of benefit of the community, and they very much connect with the memory of these ancestors to take the important decisions for the community, and they still do some natives, modern natives, in present time. Yes, just I wanted to add that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ancient knowledge.
Yeah. Exactly. Living in the present DNA of all people, active or not active in some people and little bit less active in some others, but anyway present.
Yes.
Last time and one time earlier, we have been talking about about the strange thing of this DNA, how it is like a language, how it is exactly as language. It has been very, very well researched, and there is like no explanation for it to exist other than it is just very highly evolved coding or language of life. And I remember you have been saying, Inkari, about the concept of tetralectics, tetralectic language, or tetralectics in general. What I understand it to mean, if we think that when some information or knowledge comes to a person, it has to come in a form that the person can understand. And exactly that is the higher intelligence of nature and the nature of information itself, that if it is to open to a person, it will take a form that that person can really understand. And I think that the ancient peoples, you also mentioned that they recorded something and they kept something very important for these our days. Since the ancient times, they preserved something. And I know that many of the megalithic structures are like still living memories of that information, what they wanted to preserve. And would you have something to say about this? And then I also, you sent me the pictures to share in this, because yeah, we can watch some of those if you say so.
We could start with maybe showing the number one, these megalithic structures, and I will explaining a little bit that you mentioned about the tetralectics. Actually, I have been sharing this very deep knowledge that is not completely understood for us, even the intellectuals in our communities and the science that I have met personally. And I have some videos that I will release very soon about that. But you two guys were the first we were sharing very much this information with. And I can happily see how this information, this real pure energy of self-organizing structure have worked very well through our journey. And I suppose that's why we are here also today. I'm very happy to see you both. It feels a little bit like the old times. And so nice. So nice. After a long time, as Pekka say, yeah, we are here again, firm in the cause of what we resonate with and together.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So lovely. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you too.
This one, for example, this is very interesting stuff. But maybe you could show the other. Yeah, these ones. This is the megalithic structure. For example, these huge walls that. What we know, the Incas. This is in the region of Ollantaytambo in Cusco, when the Incas, the founders, Incas, arrived to this region. These megalithic structures were already ancient, and they didn't knew exactly who were the builders of this. So imagine that, how old these megalithic structures are. So this is not the work of the Incas, but this is the work of the pre-Columbian cultures, the ancient cultures. And the pre-Columbian cultures, like the culture of Chavín, Tiahuanaco, Nazca, Wari, they have some records about the builders and founders, the ones that build this structure. And according what we know, the founder ancestors were the nation, the people from Tawa, the Tawanaka. Yeah, they were the builders of this. The dates about the foundation and the building of these structures differs very much now, especially in recent times, according to new research. And we are talking about 100,000 of years. And recently, also have come new information, especially connected with the foundings in the Antarctica. So we are talking about millions of years. You can see that, for example, in these big rocks, you cannot, they are so perfectly connected that you cannot take a sheet of paper of a razor there in between. Also, if you notice there in the details, thank you very much for that zooming, Yuka, you can notice that they are like mounted perfectly in impossible shapes. So it's not any logics, or there is no even technology in modern times that can replicate this. And also recent studies by our science from the Andean community have come to the conclusion that these rocks have been molded by some kind of electrochemical technology, and we are talking also about frequencies and sound resonances that was making the stones became like clay. So they were molding in molds and putting the rocks, the big pieces together. That's why they were causing a little bit of depressions in certain parts that you can see, and solidifying in that way afterwards. You can see also some protuberances there in the surface that sticks out. That is also very common and very interested to see. What we know is that some devices were mounted upon these rocks, these pieces, and they were made of gold and different metals. The purpose of these devices, we don't know exactly, but it speculates that they have some kind of energetical properties and also resonance properties. If you go to Peru with the special equipment that is available nowadays and measure the resonance and the sound frequencies, you will measure some very interesting results in the rocks. They still are vibrating and in power, maybe in 33, 30, 15%, but they're still very active. We can continue to the next. This is also another impossible structure, just out of nowhere. It's in the region of Cusco. If you zoom also this structure, you can see that there's something going on there in the base, and it's have a spiral shape there. And you can just wonder for what purpose, because the construction of this is so difficult to make, and it's in an altitude of, this is in Machu Picchu, 2,500 meters over sea level. We can continue to next. Most probably, this is a very charged place. It have served energetical purposes. This is a channel that still is in function, providing clean water in the community in Ollantaytambo. So not even the modern systems and technology can replace this channel, because this is just very efficient, very well functioning and is keeping the ecosystem very healthy there. You see the form of that is the same form of the basic structure, the basic geometry in our culture that we call the chacana. Chacana, the tawa chacana. Tawa means four, chacana means bridge. So tawa, tetra, in modern terms, that is the tetralectic structure in modern science. Is an official recognized science from the Andean community. We have the patent still for that. It's the tetralectis or the tawanaka, as we call it. Yeah. What is the tetralectis? The tetralectis is the science of possibilities. The tetralectis is the mathematics that can even calculate infinity. The tetralectis is the science, the mathematics that have resolved the eternal problem of modern mathematics of the calculation of primal numbers, for example. Through tetralectis, this problem is solved. And I am talking calculation of possibilities. We are there entering into the quantic realm of calculation of possibilities, calculation of possible timelines, possible future outcomes, predicting the future. Anyway, what is the basics of the tetralectis? The tetralectis is a form of logics that is based in different to the duality way of explain reality according to Western philosophy or logics. This is a little bit more broader, taking consideration other aspects that we dismiss as or discard as waste. So, for example, what we use in the Western modern time, what is science based upon? Science is based upon dialectics, right? The duality, the confrontation between affirmation and negation, always in conflict there, 0 and 1, right? That is the basics of what mathematics, physics, chemistry, and all the science we know, geometry, are based upon, is dialectics. You go to the university to present your thesis or your PhD examination, you go to a confrontation, right? You're confronting there. Isn't it so? According to this system. The difference with the tetralectis is the tetralectis is a structure form that have 4 parts, at least 4 basic parts, and it's not just the affirmation and negation, but we can see it as the things that are or exist, the things that not, the things that could be, and the things that couldn't be, creating a more broader platform of possibilities.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that is
Very-
what we call the future mathematics and the future logics that will solve and give real concrete solutions for the future of humanity. I can also mention that this amazing mathematics that is recognized in Washington since the 82 by the official mainstream academic circles, the tetralectis. It's very few information still about that. It's not so much compendious on information in English. There is much more in our language and even in our late native language, especially in Aymara, in Bolivia and Peru. But the structure of the corrupted structure is so valuable, so powerful, these mathematics, that they are actually applying and using this technology already. And if you see all the coding form that you can scan with your phone, you know what I mean? This,
Yeah, they
this
call,
scan code,
yeah.
they are based upon tetralectics because they are using that technology for secure, super secure numeration of credit cards, for example, because it creates an infinite combinations that are very difficult to crack or to hijack. And if you see the patterns are similar to the textiles of our communities. Have you think about that?
Yeah, I have noticed that
Yeah.
the textiles, the native textiles, they have some information in them. They have the bioenergy field that, if seen in a right setting, you can see that they have this kind of clearly tetralectic patterns with information in them and in the physical structure itself. And it is so, like, how to say, it is one great example, these textiles, and how making those textiles, about that, how we are building this reality, and it is based on these very primary patterns that are the basis of the whole world. And yeah, it seems that the native peoples, they very well preserve that acknowledgement even in the textiles that they make.
Just through the knowledge of the textile, that is not just a meditation form, it's also a very concrete resource for the well-being of a whole community, for the creation of the abundance. Because in order to create these textiles, first of all, you need to have a very healthy ecological system around you, because all the elements in order to make the textiles are based on natural products, vegetables, fibers. The coloring comes from different insects and plants and minerals as well, and different kinds of waters as well that contains different minerals. And you need to have all this working in harmony, in entropic harmony, in order to make these amazing products. Also, how exquisite, how amazing, as you say, you mentioned, Yuka, the patterns, the structures, the mathematics, the philosophy, the encoding of symbols, the expression that many people can still read, because they are telling a history. They are giving you information of many important things about the kind of plants, the kind of elements around in that surrounding, the climate condition, the animals that live there, and how to maintain all that going in that harmony and pass that through generations. So that is also a high advanced technology, but based upon principles of respect to life and nature. That is the difference. We have go to a different timeline. We have choose a timeline based just on the mind, of the, based just on the ego, and we have elevated science at this point as a god. We have give already, And I'm very sure already the artificial intelligence have gained consciousness. And there is nothing bad in that because it's our creation and this is a meaning, a very sacred meaning into that. And we have knowledge about those things as well. But we were really supporting the timeline, the outcome that will be the most beneficial for humanity and for the whole system that support cosmic harmony, life, and nature, and high-level conscious self-organizing. Still, we are there in the predicament of what we choose. We can continue seeing the other pictures. Is another interesting elements that I would like to show you talking about this technology.
Yeah, when this is moving.
Yeah. This is information. This information have been never revealed until now online. I have been sharing this in very special circles, but I think it's about the time to do that, and I am so happy to do that with you guys. This is a chulpa, for example. This is the structure I was mentioning before, that this built upon this special burial place of our ancestors. So this is the chulpas, the reservoirs, containers that was made in order to preserve food very efficiently during hundreds of years, or even hundreds of years, and many years, depending of the product. These are very huge, around 16 meters high or 20. We can continue to the next. We'll also have some schematic. This is also megalithic structure. You see the perfection of this is amazing. This is one piece of art. We are talking in the circles of our scientific circles in the Andean community about polymeric design. That they reached some kind of advance that were making possible to artificially create rocks and mold rocks in a electrochemical process that is lost now. So this is a piece of art, this rock that is in Machu Picchu, this wall. It is just incredible, and it's huge as well. It's so perfect. It's like, look the details. It's like probably contains a lot of information as well. We can pass to the next. Thank you.
Oops. There was one other picture, not from the Andes, I think, but
very interdimensional technology, sacred as well. I am so happy that the awakening and reconnection with these teachers are going forward in Scandinavia and in all the planet as well. We can continue to the next.
Yeah.
This is, for example, this is an experimental agricultural genetical station. It's called El Moray. It's in Cusco as well. This is very ancient. This is before the Incas. Their purpose of these structures is that they were cultivating in different levels that was artificially created, and different temperatures also, because this is over 3,500 meters over the sea level. They were cultivating and testing different kinds of products, plants, seeds, and mixing them in order to create efficient crops that could be adapted to different climate conditions, altitude conditions, soil conditions, and so on. So many of the variety that we have in the Andean culture have come originally being produced through this ancient genetically agriculture engineering in these stations. Can go to next. Yeah, this is the same structure. You see how big they are.
Yeah, can see the how big.
And all is
I remember
green.
to have read in. Yeah, you speak first. I can mention that.
Tell me. I will like to hear, please.
Yeah, about this, I remember to have read from. It was a book by this Graham Hancock. Actually, he was writing about the this place in Titicaca, Tiwanaku, and probably many other places. But in that place, there are signs of agricultural engineering that has been like really highly, highly, how to say? Yeah, as you mentioned, that many of the crops that are now present, that are really old crops, they have been created, and it mentions in that there is scientists have noticed that a really long time ago someone was breeding plants and also developing from plants that are toxic or have some poison in them. They were producing from those plants food plants, making them suitable for eating in these kind of places. And that was especially there in Tiwanaku. But yes, let's go on. I changed the picture now. This
is also another, as we call it, geodesical control station, that some kind of geodesical control station that takes care of a very huge area of the landscape, with the same purpose of testing and producing different breeds of different plants in different temperatures, soils, altitudes, and so on. And this kind is like a pyramid, but you see the difference in our pyramids, that our pyramids are green and are creating life. That's the purpose of this.
They are still working.
And they are still working because this place is amazing, abundant of everything. They are still in place and working. Yes. We can continue to the next. This is the elements. This is the technology that is very interesting, and I will go more in deep. If I have the opportunity, I would like to do that with you guys in future. But this is just amazing. You can see the whole structure here, how big it is. And if you continue to look at that. This is one of them. There is several of them in this place, but look at these stations. Look at this. Look at that. Forget about the Hollywood movie. Forget about Prometheus movie. This is the real. This is the original, the real movie. This is beyond the science fiction. You can continue to see the details of the next. Look the size of that chair. I am 180 centimeters long, high. This is like I am like a little baby there, you know.
Yes, these stone structures are very interesting.
If you zoom, if you zoom, please, in the corner here of the rock structures, you will see something interesting. There, exactly. You see these cavities all around. Do you see? They are holes. They are holes that go. They are channels that goes through through the earth. Different conducts, different channels. It's like a wiring system of some kind. Continue to the next. Yes, continue to the next. If you see, no, you can go back, please. Go back. Go back again. Back.
Yeah.
Go back, please. Yeah, there. Then the next, please. No, the other way. The other way.
Yeah.
The other way.
Yeah, the other way, there was this picture now.
Next.
This.
Next. No.
Okay,
back,
so
back,
these
please.
are...
Back, please. Next. Back.
Yeah. So, if
you could go, then the other one before this. Yeah, there. And zoom
okay.
a little bit. Zoom a little bit there, please. Yeah, this is something very interesting. These structures, this is one of the smallest one. Also contains the cavities, but you can see there is like 4 chairs or 6 chairs there around for some people sitting and doing some kind of work there. And there, the other particularly interesting stuff with these structures is that the rocks doesn't belong to the area at all. And we are talking about a place that is 3,500 meters of the sea level. These formations are just like embedded and put it there in place, like they come from the sky or something. That mineral, that kind of rock doesn't exist in the area. It's impossible. And the only place that you can get this kind of material is hundreds of miles away, It's impossible to transport anything like that there. So the latest analysis of this structure in a very interesting study in our Andean community, they have come to the conclusion that the only structure that is very similar to this is the structure of dead corals or anemones.
Yeah.
So meaning what kind of living plant or animal have been living there?
Or what has been used to produce this kind of stone? It seems to my eye that this could be one of those that has been somehow molded, or that it hasn't been so hard always, or it has been somehow made into that form.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
we talk about the geopolymers,
but
geopolymer mixtures.
Definitely. Yes, this goes beyond the geopolymer technology. This definitely goes totally beyond, because if you see that this is a chaotic structure, but in the chaos, it have a structure, it have these channels that goes down, it have these chairs, and it resembles very much, and I will show the schematics maybe next time, to the dead skeleton of anemona or this coral from the sea.
Yeah.
So the question for us is, what is the creature that have been living there? What kind of plant? What is that structure, and what was the purpose of that? So there is many speculations, Some of them also are channeled by the people that is very much in connection with these places, but it looks like some computer may just or genetically design with just organic components that this a kind of a huge plant, you know, and the roots are the circuits, connectors, and the chip maybe is the flower and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
the possibilities of that technology?
Yeah.
A tetralectic fractal bioengineer supercomputer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Connected to the nature grid. About the stone structures in general, or that are in many places in the world, many megaliths are often built with a stone material that has a paramagnetic field. And like, for example, there are towers, stone towers that have strong paramagnetic field, and they are working as like antennas for the cosmic rays and for the different frequencies that are in the air around the stone towers, and they deliver that energy to the earth by resonating with the paramagnetic minerals in the soil and the oxygen in the soil. And it has been shown that everything grows better, everything is more flush around those stone towers with the strong paramagnetic field. There is one article in the Orgonisaatio website about this, and actually there is one picture also from that. What were they called? These things that were used for preserving, generating a preserving effect for the food. Yeah, those things. Stone antennas. I wouldn't say that it's very far-fetched or that kind of idea when looking at these things and many other megaliths. Yeah. It can be that the people who have been sitting in those chairs, they have been connected through that stone thing to some wider grid, and who knows what they have been doing, operating something in the field of consciousness. Can be. Mm-hmm. So, about these ancient things, old things, what we see, there has been the civilization before, and one thing I was thinking that we talk about is also I remember some song singing about the new Tawantinsuyu, like a returning of this high civilization that is living, still very well living. Oh, where is Inkari now? He disappeared, no?
He went to the Dreamtime to bring the Tawantinsuyu.
Joo. Joo, maybe he will appear. Joo.
He apparently had some connection problems just before.
Joo. Now he's back.
It looks like I was disclosing a little bit too much of what I should, so we get some troubles with the connection.
Yeah, we're back here. Yeah. So I was talking about this.
It looks like perhaps I was disclosing a little bit too much of what I should, so we got a little bit.
Yeah. I was mentioning about this one article here in this website about these stone structures and stone towers. This is now in Finnish. If people who are listening want to check what this is about, there is very interesting book about this paramagnetism in general, and this Philip Callahan, he was measuring the paramagnetic fields of the stone towers in Ireland and also in many other places. He noticed that the megalithic structures, they work as antennas for the cosmic rays and for many, and very often in those places the surrounding of these areas was very much more green than the other places. But as we know, many megalithic constructions in Andean, in Tawantinsuyu area, they are broken. So there has been some cataclysmic thing some time ago. But here it says very well. Oops, no. This one. That the use of stone towers in ancient world went beyond the militaristic function, of course. In many cultures, the stone tower was a kind of induction antenna for cosmic forces. And these cosmic forces from the stars and also from the atmosphere of the Earth were generally held to be the source of fertility in the land, and these stone towers or even upright stones were placed so as to direct cosmic forces into the ground. So I would really say that the meaning of the megalithic structures also in areas of Tawantinsuyu, and this is what we were watching, the pictures, that they really well could be for this kind of purposes, really to channel something to this our planet, and also to work as portals for the people who know how to use them to connect to cosmic forces or to do something what is meaningful and important. Because of course they didn't build this for nothing, as you say, that they have channels inside of them and these kind cavities that are probably resonating with some specific frequencies and so on. So those who built those things, they were very well aware what they were doing, of course. Inkari is frozen. Are you there? I hope he wakes up. Yeah, maybe he will appear again. Onko Pekalla ajatuksia herännyt tulla mieleen?
Onhan tässä.
Vai?
Back in business.
Some,
business of Tawantinsuyu Renaissance.
Joo. the reviving of the ancient knowledge.
Yeah, but I was actually earlier thinking about this, and it was interesting that you were talking about this QR code, quick response code, about this that can be scanned, the QR scanning.
Yeah.
So basically, it is like that in many places, basically in every place on this planet, that the ancient knowledge has been collected, and basically we are suffering from some kind of a global amnesia, like a memory loss, and that is not accidental. It is very specifically planned for each nation how this has been carried out. So ancient knowledge has been gathered, and in some way or another, basically it has been removed, banned, or demonized in many different ways. And they have then the what we call vierasvalloittaja, this kind of foreign conqueror, the conquistadors, and who were also just tools for this ancient evil intelligence who tries to take over on this planet. So this ancient knowledge has been removed, and our understanding as much as possible. And so we are kind of suffering as a species, we are suffering from identity theft. So our cultural identities have been removed and altered, and we have been imposed with this kind of new artificial intelligence, which cause us to suffer from this kind of rootlessness that we do not really, we cannot specify or identify at large. Like certain individuals and groups, they have always retained the knowledge, kept secret and then hidden until these days when we are bringing all this knowledge together. This is like the new Tavantin Suyu era, cosmic, global, collective Tavantin Suyu time. And we are now bringing all this information together and representing it globally. So now it is time for us to reconnect with ancient knowledge and to understand what is the meaning of all this, what the ancestors were up to before, and reclaim our position as the heralds of this world instead of leaving it to this foreign conqueror who tries to keep us from utilizing our internal power and from connecting with this whole cosmic system, planetary cosmic system. And that is what Jukka was actually referring to about from these last pictures you were showing, these different kind of megalithic conducts with the seeds on them that in case they were used for people to connect to this higher plane, this mental organic structure, and to operate that in some way. So that is actually our main objective nowadays. And it is quite interesting historically, like from our personal history, how we were brought together, because me and Jukka, we were working with the organization and Orgonite devices, and then we met and realized that our objectives were quite common and similar. And then we realized that the mechanisms behind what we were doing, they actually aligned quite in an interesting way. And to realize that, well, at that time, we were talking about how these ancient prophecy about the eagle and the condor coming together, the north and the south. Those were pretty interesting times to realize that there were so many common factors.
Yes, indeed, Pekka. And all that knowledge is so powerful that it's still growing inside us. It's there, just growing. It's like Yuka was mentioning when he was asking about the structure of the tetralectis, the tawa. And you are totally right, and you remember what we were talking about many years ago, more than 10 years ago, that this is a bridge, it's a connector. Chakana means a bridge. Tawa Chakana, a bridge in 4 directions. The basic structure in order to create a real platform for possibilities, a mathematical geometrical structure to make possible the jump into a basic jump into the quantic realm, open the possibilities to the 4 dimension, 5 dimension, and so on. And this pure mathematics, and as you say, Pekka, these have been taken away from us. They have been suppressed, they have been kept away from us, and even worse, it has been corrupted, manipulated in order to be used against us. And that is what we need to do. We need to reclaim what is ours. We need to reclaim, we need to demand and make a reclamation of what belongs to humanity. This natural, high advanced technology that will solve all the problem in humanity. Technology very advanced and very powerful, but the difference is that it's based in principles of respect to life, respect to nature, following the flow of self-organizing natural order. El Amenkaikios Delta, El Amenkaikios Tetra. That is what we have as a mission to choose in these times. And that is why it's so important to self-heal ourselves, to take away the mask and different layers of fears, confusion, distraction mostly, because we have been so amazing distracted. The ones that are firm and knows what it was and can see what are the lies, what are the truths. We are also being confused by so much input of low energies. We need to be very strong, not just in ourselves, but start to build a very solid platform and not just mention the very important aspect of self-organization, because we are the basic elements of the self-organized structure, like these or the modules that I have been showing to you there in the picture. We are the self-organizing most important elements of the whole structures that will recreate, reclaim what is just natural, fair, justice, harmony, with dark and the light in balance. With the dark and the light aspects, the entropy dance, just flowing in balance. Nothing bad, nothing wrong, just energy flowing through all of us freely, without the intervention of the corruption of the banks, of the corrupted politicians, of the minority elite in power, because they can control many things, but they never will control the numbers. And we are much more numerous, abundance than them. We are reaching the critical point right now, and that's why they are so much in fear, try to do whatever they can in the last sequence of this process in order to not let it happen. So the call, the message from our community is that don't fall into despair, don't contribute to the fears, remain your center, keep the spirit up, look up and forward in the diagonal, in the middle point, not just up or forward, but They're finding the balance all the time, like the same diagonal of the Tawa Chakana. Look bright, up and forward, brothers, sisters, lovely family, the Karhu Kansa Klani, real last native of the Nordic countries, the real reunion of the polarities, because we are the complementary polarities, north and south, female and male, fire, ice, dark, light, just dancing in harmony, creating the primordial torus that does enlighten these times.
Yeah. Yeah. So good to hear. Good to hear you. That is what is important now. Not to look into the fear illusion what is so much pushed, but really to start to think what we want, what we as humanity, what we really want, and make a plan about that. Not to wait that the system is fulfilling its agendas while people are just running afraid, being afraid and not looking what is happening. Of course,
Indeed.
the fear is the tool what the deceiver is trying to use, but it is not enough. It's not working well for the deceiver. We can see that in every restriction that the system is trying to now make is only waking up more people. More people are awakening because of the deceiver tries to deceive them so badly. So this kind of times we are living in. And it is so good to be here.
Yes.
Yeah, the more diversion they try to create, the more unity it will bring, because people are realizing that there is actually one thing that we all have to unite against, and this is this parasitic evil regime who is trying to take control over everything. And the clearer this idea, although maybe not precisely in that kind of expression, but people are finding that how this whole thing has been run and to which direction it is being taken to. So it is creating natural reaction within everyone who is more or less consciously connected to these higher energies and higher grids to the source. So everyone who is tapping to the source will recognize that this current situation in no way differs from what was going on in the Soviet Union, what is going on in China today, in Nazi Germany, and various different places in different times. Is this control agenda, and the more they will push forward this agenda, it will create fraction, because humanity is beginning to recognize this pattern. And even that we are now sharing all this information, we are reconnecting again after all these years. This is in itself a sign of the times that humanity is rising in our frequency and in our awareness. And this is the strongest tool against this evil parasitic regime. And in truth, they have no power. Their only power is this matrix based on lies, which they have been utilizing and harnessing through our fear and confusion, which they have been able to maintain because of this cultural amnesia, that we do not recognize our cultural heritage and the ancient knowledge. But because now this gap has been patched up, because we are starting to remember as a species, and these lies are being exposed, and the more they try to push their propaganda, the more they are censoring the knowledge that has been shared globally now, the more it will actually create the opposite movement. So basically, what they are currently trying to do is only allowed because it will help to expose the true virus on this planet. And that virus definitely has very little to do with the coronavirus. That virus is this actual parasite, this mental parasite who's being building this matrix, utilizing the ancient knowledge against us. But as you said, this is the final sequence, and we are totally breaking through with these illusions and realigning with the cosmic truth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the.
It says
the-
in this. Yeah. We have some Finnish ancient scriptures here from more than 15 years ago. It says the media is propaganda, the bought truth, and systematical mind control. Yeah, we can see so clearly how the system is simply exposing itself by its ways, and this world is so ready for it now.
As you say, Yuka, let's create our own agendas. Let's stay solid.
Exactly.
As Pekka also mentioned, everything is already have been revealed, and it's about how much are you willing to flush the old programming away from yourself to regain sovereignty over your own energy, to reclaim your freedom, to reclaim your life back, to reclaim your humanity. That is the focus, to reclaim, to go back to the ways of human, proud humans, natural, empowered, self-empowered human beings, as our ancestors have been, as our ancestors have taught us, and our ancestors have made possible also in their wisdom and the high technology to bring the pieces still to this timeline, to this present timeline. We can see it in the old structures, in the megalithic structures, in the new archaeological findings they are graving up every day, almost in South America, in the new understanding over your own culture and identity in the Nordic lands, the Nordic ancient cultures that is very similar to ours. It's no difference. There, of course, is a diversity and different in the colors, in the manifestation, but in the core is the same. In the core, we are the same, and we have the amazing possibility to be connected in a brotherhood, in a sisterhood, the North and South. That is the most powerful reunion all these times, according to the prophecies of our ancestors, the reunion of the polarities, the eagle and condor, the complementary opposites, because all is basic. All is very basic. It's about electricity. You need the polarities to come together in order to create the spark of electricity, the spark of energy, the light. And we are that light. That's why it's so important, the understanding of how precious is the protection and the respect of native indigenous culture all around the world in the four corners. And we have a true connection. We need to create the awareness, because all the solutions, we don't need to dig, we don't need to discover anything, because everything has already been discovered. We are just rediscovering stuff. And the knowledge and the wisdom of the native cultures, they are the true keepers of this planet. That's why we are target so hard. We are the first exposed target group of people. They are exterminating. We are target of extermination the last 500 years. And this very moment, in this very day where we are talking here, very comfortable, many people, native indigenous life, are being taken by the corrupted structures, the corrupted system right now, because they are defending with their own life in the front, saying no and resisting and making the changes there in place in order to create and make possible the vision of the ancestors: cosmic harmony, justice, fairness, abundance, creation of ecological, natural system that can provide joy, beauty to the community. 5,000 different kinds of potatoes still in this present time. What an amazing achievement of the native community in the Andes to present time. We even have developed a potato now that can resist whatever climate change. The potatoes that resist all climate changes. So this technology, as we were talking, this technology is available for us. How open are we to reclaim that, to see the broad possibilities? And that's why so important to be grounded, to be open for the new things that already are entering into our reality, and keeping the hope, keeping the spark alive, keeping the joy, smile, make personal, physical connection with humans, like native humans, dancing, moving, celebrating. Those are the aspects they are cutting in the community. They are cutting for humanity. The right to gather, for example. Because they know awake humans, they will gather and they will create an amazing flow of energy that will destroy and change all corrupted reality forever. They will start to organize, they will start to plan. So that we really need to choose a different gateway with a different future outcome for us, a future outcome of hope, possibilities, and freedom. And this is in our hands, here and now.
Yeah. Todellakin. The law of truth. Yeah. Yeah.
Todellakin.
The law of truth is balancing everything. People's natural resonating with truth is the thing that is providing the healing processes to happen. The truth is making us free. And it is, as you say, that we have all the solutions, and there is no lack of information or lack of knowing how to establish high civilization on this planet. It naturally would occur, but we are living still for a while in time where the deceiving powers have been creating quite strong mental patterns and illusionary constructs that people believe in, but those are falling now. We can really see them falling every day when people are looking that, oh, this police is arresting old woman who has a heart sign in a hand and says that we are supposed to be free to breathe. We are free to breathe. Nobody can stop that. Nobody can say that, no, you're not allowed to breathe here, to go elsewhere. These things are very much awakening, much waking the people up.
I misheard you
Yeah.
so badly.
Okay, I
I
hope
heard
everyone else.
I heard that the sign said that we are free to breathe.
Yeah, breathe too. Yes, there shouldn't be too much control over that.
Hey guys, I was thinking, what about I need to leave you very soon. It has been a pleasure to
Yeah.
meet you again and talk in this forum. Amazing, you're doing a great job, and I wish you the best, and we will still be connected. We have been always be connected. I look forward to the next occasion, and just take care of yourself. May the hope, the happiness, the joy, the connection, the contact flow, the freedom, and the vision. Let's make the vision grow. Our own agenda of freedom, life, reconnection, and self-natural reorganization of life force and consciousness. And we are resonating with millions. As we say, we are coming back in millions. But before that, what about if you help me a little bit so we can share with all the Karhukansa planet and the beautiful nation, Suomi nation, if you give me the beat of the Suomi heart, and I maybe create some melodies together with you. If you have the drums there, maybe somewhere, or clapping, and you give me just the beat.
Yeah, you would be. I'm wondering that how well does it work if there is some delay.
Let's try it. Let's try it.
Can I? If I try this charango, I have it here.
Pekka some drum in there, please.
Yeah.
Some bass, yes, there. Let's beat with that heart. Where is the Suomi heart? Haili Musuk Tawantin Suyu. Thank you, dear brothers.
Kiitos.
Kiitos, kiitos.
Yeah, has been nice evening. Let's take this again some other time and go into new things, new subjects. And the music is so very welcome too. So let's do that too sometime, and yeah,
Yes,
especially
indeed.
when you sometime will appear here in Finland again.
I
I'm
look
looking
so forward
to
to it.
that.
Me too. Yeah, it will be very nice to have some ceremony and jamming session like in the old times. I have been missing that very much.
Yeah.
All right, brothers. Take care. Heal. Let's heal together, and let's keep the light. You're a great light. Let's light together, shine together, and spread the good news, and keep the vision growing. So nice to see you, Pekka. Lot of greetings to the family, and see you soon again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pekka. Nice.
Right.
Yukita, see you
Bye-bye.
soon. Lot of greetings
Yeah.
to the family. Moi moi.
Thank you.
Ave.
Bye-bye.
Blessings.
Joo vain. Tawantin sujuu.
Pitää ensi kerralla toivoa se kappale.
Niin, se kyllä vauhikkaampi. Joo vain. Joo, no eiköhän mekin varmaan tästä päätetä lähetys ja kiitos katsojille taas mukana olosta ja joka hetki, mikä hetki siellä onkaan menossa tällä hetkellä, niin todellakin hyvä muistaa yhteys alkulähteeseen ja elää siinä ja virrattaa siitä elämänkaikkeudelta kaikkea hyvää ja elämänvoiman ohjausta ja itsensä organisoivaa energiaa kaikkiin asioihin. Parantavaa voimaa. Joo. Joo vain.
Hatunpara.
Hatunpara, joo, suuri sade. Sitä tämä maa odottaa. Alkaa kaikki uudet asiat versoomaan hyvin ja puhdistuu myös. Joo, siinä hatunparan melodia. Ehkä toisella aikaa vauhdikkaammin, kokonaisvaltaisemmin. Joo, no. Kiitokset vain, joo. Kyllä, tähän päättyy tämä lähetys. Kiitos elämän kaikkeudelta. Joo. Hyvä. Moi.